before it beams up. I think we're all ready. So, all right, let's admit the room and let's get the Zoom settled in.
Wonder whether we can top the last launch.
Yeah, we might. Well, hello. Welcome, everyone. Let's give it a moment. Apologies for the delay. We had some technical issues and getting everything in order. So we're ready to rock and roll. Let's give it a second or two for the Zoom to settle in. The crowds are reeling in. The doors are only as wide. So let's make sure we get everyone in. But Zoom is handling it like a champ. So that's really cool. Where's everyone dialing in from?
Hello from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Hello from Tennessee.
Greetings from Switzerland.
Boulder, Colorado.
Hello from Mendoza, Argentina.
Brooklyn, Colorado.
Hello from Prague.
Gary from Tanzania.
Hello from Malta.
Victoria,
Northern California.
Nice.
Hello from Colombia.
172 people already.
Hello from
Canada.
Hello from North Carolina.
Hello from St. Louis.
Minnesota.
North Carolina. Yeah, Zoom is trying to handle. I think we're gonna maybe break 200. Let's see what happens. But there'll be also a lot other people watching it on YouTube. I still see loading bars on my back end here, so we're gonna give it another 30 seconds, and we're gonna slowly begin. Let me set the room, set the permissions, so we're all good. I will ask my co-host to help me to mute anyone who may be still outstanding, just so that we can make the way for everything as always. And good. All right. Well, as we had in a pre-room, a couple people are here with us very late at night, so very early morning or late night to you, but generally good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Absolutely. Thank you that you are being here with us today. It is once again quite a special day. We have just bid farewell to Fund 8 with onboarding of about 360 projects that found the confidence from Cardano voters and to move on to the next stage of execution in their journey. But this also means that it is the time to rewind and come back to the beginning when the new fund journey begins. And that starts today. So we do have a lot to go through today. It is a town hall packed with a lot of amazing information and updates. And if for whatever reason you need to drop out, this entire event is being recorded and will be available on demand and timestamped shortly after on IOG's YouTube channel as well. So not to worry if you do need to drop out at any given point. If you are watching this town hall on YouTube right now, I do encourage you to look for the Zoom invite link just underneath the video window in the description box so that you can come and join us directly, because YouTube only shows the front page and I'm seeing at least 6 of them here inside the Zoom. So there's a lot more hiding behind it, which you can just simply not fit on YouTube, but you will find on Zoom. So hop along, and this link will then also ensure that you're automatically invited for the next event that happens every Wednesday at 5 p.m. UTC, and we'd be happy to have you with us. But without further ado, let me kickstart the slides and begin the presentation. So let me share the screen real quick.
Just while we're doing that, welcome everybody to Fund 9. Yay!
Welcome.
Hey, Charles.
Good
Awesome.
to see everybody.
Welcome. And having said that, without further ado, let's fire away. I would really love to invite who you just heard, Mr. Charles Hoskinson, the Chief Executive Officer at Input Output, to the stage to help us begin in no other fashion than reading the Welcome to the Experiment slide. Mr. Hoskinson, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Welcome from warm and sunny Colorado. Today is June 1st, and welcome to the experiment. Remember, things may break, lack documentation, differ greatly between iterations, disorient, overload, and of course, inspire. And as always, our goal is to provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. You know, we launched Catalyst a long time ago, in cryptocurrency years. It's kind of like dog years, just on steroids, like every year is 10 years. But actually not too long ago, and actually in chronological order, Catalyst is about 2 years old, give or take. And during that time period, over $32 million of funds have been distributed. 4,600 proposals have been generated. Over 1,000 projects have been funded in some way or another. And over 80 are now single completion. And 90 plus countries are participating with 1.2 million votes. Think about that. In just a very short period of time, as an experiment, we have constructed the largest decentralized organization in the world, completely bootstrapped by you, the community. And the magic of this is that it's speeding up, not slowing down. So those numbers may seem big, but they're going to be small when we look at the next 24 months. The long-term consequences of this is that we're constructing basically end-to-end a decentralized government. And we're constructing a decentralized grant agency, and we're constructing a decentralized ecosystem that is capable of self-determination. It's the hardest thing of the third generation cryptocurrency. Remember, I always say there's 3 pillars, the third generation cryptocurrencies. I'm getting damn tired of that spiel, but have to say it. Scalability, interoperability, and that third one is governance. So, we looked at input endorsers, we looked at pipelining, we looked at Hydra, Mithril, side chains, we looked at the things that we're doing there, and we are converging to a beautiful roadmap that will enable scalability for the next 5-10 years as we grow from millions to tens of millions to hundreds of millions of users. When we looked at interoperability, we see a whole bunch of standards emerging inside the industry, and we're coming up with newfound ways to move information, assets, and people between different blockchains. Wrapped assets are very common now. Oracles are very common now. We have things like ISO 222. And so it's very easy now to talk to legacy financial world as they embrace open banking. We just have to be interoperable with APIs. And then suddenly everything just kind of talks to each other and works. But that hard one, governance, has never been solved by our industry. And we are the leading project right now. And everything from decentralized updates to open source project governance structures to the concept of DREPs, to just how big this community has gotten. And the entire point of funds is that every time we do them, they get larger, they get more inclusive. So throughout this fund, our Light Wallet's coming out, Lace, and very shortly after it's released, a voting center is coming in. That's a standard. Other wallets will adopt that, and we will probably see the largest growth of voters in the Cardano ecosystem ever. So we'll go from the 10-ish percentages to maybe 30, 40, 50% before the end of the year. So in addition to us having this amazing community, the challenge now is to maintain the culture of this amazing community as we grow tremendously. And also to figure out better ways to harness the collective knowledge and wisdom that people have. The other thing with DREPs is that leaders are starting to materialize. I spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. Last week, and I saw all these congressmen and these senators, and it dawned on me, these are people selected by the people, and they represent constituencies. Well, we're now converging to having kind of a notion of a decentralized Congress, a decentralized Senate. It's composed of you. So throughout this year, as the voting population increases, the delegates will increase, and there's going to be familiar faces. We're already starting to see roles be funded. For example, Sebastian from DC Spark, he's the first person to be paid to be a SIP editor. So he's one of the few people that officially works for the Cardano blockchain, and no one else in that respect. We will have dozens to hundreds of people in similar roles throughout by next year. This is just going to organically happen. So it's really impressive. If you think about it, it started as an experiment, and it started as a few people. I mean, look at round one. Chris, do you remember how much participation we had there?
We can probably find out, but it was pretty much internal only, and it was a couple of dozen of proposals.
Yeah. To now we're building like our own legislative branch, and we have 1.2 million votes. It's pretty remarkable when you think about that, and that's not a lot of time chronologically, but it has felt like a lifetime in terms of progress. From our part, we're going to keep building out the technology. There's a lot of hard technical questions that have to be answered. For example, what's the best way of linking the Catalyst sidechain to Cardano as we open up the sidechain ecosystem? Obviously, user experience needs to improve, and there now needs to be a lot of community SIPs and back and forth communication. One SIP I'm going to call out is SIP 56. It's something Sebastian wrote. And that particular SIP is related to a decentralized treasury. So these are examples of where governance ideas are starting to flow and starting to be formalized into the SIP process. More of that will come. I think around September, we should have a pretty significant announcement about something related to the open source program of how do we get to a members-based open source project for the development of core Cardano technology. But the more interesting question to Catalyst is the relationship between this open source governing body, the bureaucracy of building software and deploying things and ensuring it's high quality and timely with good productivity, and also the democratic mandate behind that and the roadmap for Cardano. So the coming few months, this is going to be a big thing. A lot of challenges in Fund 9 are probably going to be related also to building out the development ecosystem and making Cardano a very attractive platform for people to deploy things on. So in parallel of figuring out how do we build the best government in the world for crypto and for an open source project and for our community, we also have to figure out how do we make this an attractive community for people to build things on. Now, for our part, we've put a big initiative to invite as many people as possible to Consensus to show the size, scope, and scale of what Cardano has achieved. And it looks like over 1,000 people have signed up for the community event in Austin, and we'd love to see as many people as possible there. A lot of DApp projects are coming too. I think over 80 are represented. We have a large exhibition area at Consensus, one of the largest cryptocurrency conferences in the world. It's a 50 by 20 foot exhibition area just specifically for Cardano. So it's a big event. It's going to make a big splash, and it's going to be a great platform for people who are building on Cardano to demonstrate why they're doing what they're doing. As the Vossel hard fork comes, a lot of projects are going to launch. And so it's really important that we start sorting these things out. There's still some things that need to be figured out, like the alliances. We have the Cardano DeFi Alliance, but apparently there are other competitors. There's still this concept of stake pool alliances, NFT alliance, potentially an alliance for JED, the stable coin, to create standards around that so many people can deploy this technology. And so this is another thing that I think Catalyst can be pivotal in as we look to fund round 9 and future rounds. These alliances can get their funding partially or completely from Catalyst to enable them to work for Cardano and to unify people together. So these are the decisions that you all collectively have to make of what are your priorities? Where should we take things? Where should we focus things? Should we focus on infrastructure and tooling? And if so, how much? Should we focus on more foundational governance ideas? Should we focus on alliance development? And you can even focus on marketing if you want to. It's completely in your hands. You've picked the challenge problems, you've picked the areas, and there's going to be thousands of ballots that are submitted. Another thing to encourage you guys to do is to create awareness of Catalyst itself. A lot of UX and UI improvements need to be made. We need to have a serious discussion, in my view, with an idea scale about how do we open this up and make it much easier for people to view and interact with projects. I know that there's an open governance API coming and people are building tools for as a project viewer. There's a lot of partnerships and alliances we can make. For example, Masari just released a DAO viewer. And there's a lot of conversations about frameworks to create this. And what I found is that the vast majority of people in crypto media and people who write crypto reports don't know anything at all about Catalyst. So in my view, as a decentralized government in formation, probably good at this juncture to start creating as much visibility as possible for Catalyst and let as many people as possible be aware of it. This is our time. Growth is coming. From our side, we're of course committed to making sure that core technology continues to improve. And there's a long list of things that I've always wanted to do with Catalyst, including diversifying the voting system and also opening Catalyst up to be the governance stack for native assets issued on Cardano. Very high priority over the next 18 months. We have things like tiered pricing and Babel fees coming. So when somebody launches a DApp on Cardano, eventually they're going to be able to pay their transaction fees in the underlying currency. I'd like to be able to say with the same breath that they have a governance as a service toolkit that they can use and they can connect to Catalyst and the DREPs can work with them. And all of a sudden now Catalyst can control the treasury of multiple tokens instead of just ADA and provide basic governance services. This is among the single most important topics when we talk to dApps and DeFi is who's in charge and how do they decentralize. And what's happening is that right now everybody's trying to basically build a bespoke DAO for their own ecosystem. We could offer this basically as a competitive differentiator for our ecosystem. So we're in the weeds now. It was very aspirational, inspirational, and hope-filled in prior rounds. And we were talking a lot about what we ought to do and what we should do and how we're going to change the world. And now we're actually in the operational execution side of Catalyst, where we're doing the work. It's hard. There's a long days ahead. There's a lot of things to get done. There's a lot of building that needs to be done. We have, as I mentioned, well over 1,000 projects funded, but you notice 80 projects signal to completion. That's great, but that's only 8%. So what about audit and oversight? What about transparency and disclosures? These types of things. We have to start making sure that there are proper best practices, accumulating forming, good standards, accumulating forming. People are incentivized to work together, make sure that people open source all the fruits of their labors if we can, these types of things, so that we can continue being effective. Because as we advertise Catalyst, we're going to get a lot of questions from the crypto community, the VC community, from government agencies like grant agencies and others that are looking at this as a different model for innovation management. And we need to have good answers about how do we know that what we're funding ends up being completed and is high quality. In addition, there are some strategic decisions that have to be made about what Cardano is good at. For example, as one of the founders of Cardano, I didn't anticipate that Cardano would be so useful for NFTs. Now we're number 3 in the world for NFT volume and issuance. 5 million assets have been issued, over 270 million per month of NFTs are being sold on Cardano. It's pretty special. Yet very little of the roadmap, the prior roadmap, has ever been focused in that particular direction. So we don't have quite beautiful standards yet or great interfaces yet. This has been completely organic by the community. This is an example of where Catalyst could step in. Another area is the certification program that we're setting together. We just recently had a summit in Barcelona, Spain, May 17th to 18th. And we discussed level 1, level 2, and level 3 certification of smart contracts on Cardano with different certification bodies. There's a very, very heavy lift, and even an idea of starting a standards institute specifically to be the bulwark of this, to ensure that applications constructed on Cardano are high quality. There are many opportunities for Catalyst to participate here. For example, you could fund fellows to step up, and 100% of their salary, like Sebastian with being a SIP editor, is devoted to smart contract certification, the creation of standards, the certification of things. You can even create a watchdog group if you want to, that audits applications and makes statements about whether those applications have good code or adhere to best practices or standards. So it's kind of a fraud squad in that respect. These are all decisions you have to make. And what's so exciting to me is that I just come at the end of the round and at the beginning of the round, and I get to see how much has been done and how many projects have made great progress. People are getting funded that are really doing amazing things. And it's getting harder and harder to actually read all of them. I used to, at the end of every funding round, read out all the people who won. And I think those are now going to be like a 30-minute video. And as this continues to grow and expand, it's probably going to end up being an hour video to just say congratulations to the people funded. So maybe I'll just read out the list of people who have completed their project moving forward. In any event, I'm here for you guys. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, tweet at me, email me, send a message to our office. Catalyst is your government, for better or for worse. And where we go is up to you. And frankly, you've exceeded all expectations and you continue to do really amazing things. And I think it is about time that our industry as a whole starts understanding that what we've done here is very special. And it's the single biggest contribution to the cryptocurrency space since, I think, the invention of proof of work. So thank you all for your time. I do appreciate it. Lots of good things to come. And today, Chris and Daniel and others are going to tell you all about it. Cheers.
Thanks, Charles. Got one question for you, if that's all right.
Well, always.
On
the mic.
Brilliant. Well, on the matter of prioritization, obviously, Catalyst is all about it being in the community's hands, ultimately to make the decisions on what projects go forward. But I certainly, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it, believe that there's a lot of good expertise within IO that sometimes hasn't been able to come to the table with ideas for how we prioritize what we've got to do and how we see it from our side of the table, if you like. And I've been working with the product teams to think through some of these challenge ideas, and I'd just love to know your thoughts on that.
Well, the most important thing to me is making sure the bureaucracy of open source development is properly structured and it's members based. So the people who show up to consensus who are project owners, who are building dApps on Cardano, we're going to sit down with you one by one and say, hey, something's coming and we'd love for you to be a member of it in some capacity and contribute resources, whether it be developers or strategy people, and get them into governance and technical steering committees, and get many open source programs linked together, kind of like what's happening with the Hyperledger Foundation, where if you look there, it's not just Fabric, but there are more than a dozen projects that are doing various things. So that's to me one dimension of making sure that we're successful. Second, we need to improve the user experience of both voting and participation, as well as information display and knowledge management. So we need to make sure that things start getting open and they're not hidden behind a username and password. It's very easy to search for stuff. It's very easy to organize stuff and look at categories and also the long history of things, and hopefully get a project management view where you can have Gantt charts of everything that's in flight so you can kind of know who's doing what where. Third, it's important to identify like projects and where those projects are connected to key commercial deliverables for the growth and stability of Cardano. So we look at Basho, for example, there's the things that IO is doing, but we're just one member of the community. So we think of things, for example, like Hydra, pipelining, input endorsers. Well, other people like Orbis, for example, and some of their competitors are considering things like recursive snarks for scalability. This is not an area of the roadmap that we're currently covering aggressively. We may at some point get into it, but we're really busy with a lot of the things that we've been working on with scalability. With Hydra and pipelining. So some cases are collaboration and parallel development. Other cases are merging efforts. For example, I would love to see a lot of efforts merge making an enterprise node for Cardano. I'm a huge fan of the Hyperledger Firefly program, for example. Well, it would be great to get Blockfrost in on that. It would be great to get external parties that aren't in the Cardano ecosystem in on that, like Kaleido, for example, and bring them in. So then suddenly we have kind of a smart contract launch center, and we have very turnkey deployment like the Ethereum people have with Infura and Alchemy, but then we can build additional things in. So I think the priority comes to who is willing to do the work. And how does that work connect to the roadmap overall of what are we trying to achieve? Some basic principles of what we're trying to achieve. Right now, it's visibility, it's customer acquisition, it's marketplace development, it's developer acquisition, it's demonstrating use and utility of the platform. I have personal goals at IO that I care a lot about. For example, the developing world, development in Africa, RealFi, these things. So that's part of my roadmap, my personal roadmap. And one of the reasons why we built Cardano was to service these types of things. But that's just one voice now in a chorus. And the point of Catalyst is it should be able to show all the voices in Cardano in that chorus. And then what ends up happening if you have the right interface is that people can talk about relationships and partnerships and collaboration and cooperation. And what Catalyst can be is a great connector of thoughts and ideas and a great merger of thoughts and ideas, and people can start working together in that standpoint. We can get all that done in 6 to 12 months. Just think about that collective power. You've gone from hundreds or thousands of people to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people all working together and doing things together and having a funding source, having an audit and oversight layer, and having a marketing and distribution layer to kind of broadcast the efforts that they have. If we achieve that, we're unstoppable as an ecosystem.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Charles.
Any other questions before I skedaddle?
I think we're good. I think we've got a big show to get through. So I really appreciate all of your time and all of that insight. And that's given everybody a lot of food for thought. So yeah, thanks, Charles. And Daniel, I reckon we're back to you.
Yeah. And one request I have is look at some of the guys who are in a knowledge management and visualization business, like the Obsidians of the world and so forth, and say, maybe we can bring them into the Cardano ecosystem. Another cool part about Catalyst is each and every one of you is a growth marketer, a strategic partnership developer, and so forth. If you have connections to a company and you think that company builds products and services that could help the growth of Cardano, go have the Catalyst conversation with them and encourage them to come and find a way to submit a ballot or do something. And this is a way that we can absorb new companies and ideas. Each and every one of you have equal footing in that respect. So thank you all for your time. I'll see you guys at Fund 10 and show me what you got. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr. Hoskinson. As always, it was a pleasure to have you visit us and listen to your thoughts. I think we're always very appreciative of your time and the presence in the community. And I think we're left once again with quite a wealth of inspiring thoughts to ponder over and drive the conversation about governance generally. So thank you very much. And we are going to look forward to having you with us at some point in the future once again as well. And moving on, exciting stuff. We have a long town hall still to go ahead. So I take it we are ready to go. And awesome. Well, moving on, every change, every adjustment could not be possible without the hard work of many, many individuals behind the scenes that often may not be very seen, but play a very key role in helping us navigate and drive the Catalyst innovation forward from behind. And in no particular order, I'm going to try to read them out loud. So Sasha, Darek, Joaquin, Giacomo, Alex, Marek, Ryan, Agustina, Juan, Esteban, German, Enzo, Eric, Gilarmo, Delfina, Bingsheng, Roman, Maria, Dmitro, Philip, Tony, Mark, Denitsa, Tom, Joaquin, Aida, Matas, Fernando, Luz, Lara, Colin, Danny, Nemanja, Kevin, Chris, Harris, Mike, Bosco, Simo, Bojan, Julia, Michael, Dinal, Jer, Roman, Charles, Tamara, TK, Tim, Jack, Anna, Eric, Ben, Matthew, Tim, H, Philip, Alex, Marius, Yumko, Niam, Lawrence, Lara, Joel, Rachel, Samuel, John, Michael, Tim, Chasla, Victor, Carlos, Svetan, and probably a lot more that we always get in touch with every single fund. And that's all of the folks, or at least some of them were able to fit on the slide, which are working from behind the scenes. But then obviously that's not all, that's just us on the Catalyst team. So what about this huge community power, which is backed by, proposers, advisors, mentors, voters, challenge teams, doers, lurkers, but I think it comes down that it's most importantly you and you. Yes, that's right. I am talking to every single person on this call who are dialing into Catalyst every week or maybe every once in a while. But whatever it is, you are really making the Catalyst world go around. And without this community agency, nothing that we're building together on the back end here would matter or be even possible with that interaction, because you don't have to be here. You have options and you're choosing to be here with us. And that's something that I think everyone on Catalyst team is very immensely grateful for. So huge thank you to each and every one of you. This is the last call to fill in the Fund 8 survey. So that usually helps us navigate the future and what was good, what is bad, and what are the opportunities and challenges to address going forward. And it really informs us greatly. And, we read every single line of this feedback submitted, and it's carefully read and it's carefully considered. And if you wonder whether anything happens to the previous funds and you want to see what will be the output for Fund 8, I do invite you to look at what happened for Fund 7 outcome for the reference. So I invite you to check it out. Link is on the slide for the reference, and then help us close out Fund 8 with this exit survey before it closes down by the end of this week. So again, thank you very much again for participating in that realm. So $1 billion ADA question, what is Project Catalyst? Well, for anyone who is here with us for the first time, perhaps you're still wondering what the Project Catalyst is and why should you care about it? Well, the goal is that we collectively really aim to be the world's largest decentralized and accessible innovation engine for the global good. But how to get there and where we are today? Well, primary role is really to test and iterate really a fair and impactful way of governing Cardano. And we're doing this through the means of treasury management and testing it within the playing field and the realms of Catalyst. And namely, we're asking, as you see it here, how Cardano community can manage the treasury in a fair and impactful way. Now, you may be asking, if you're hearing it for the first time, why is that important? Well, Cardano treasury is key to permanent sustainability of the ecosystem, just like we heard from the initial keynote from Mr. Hoskinson as well. So it's really how we are able to fund Cardano's innovation and help navigate the future of the ecosystem by really identifying those challenges that need to be tackled, that we've heard a few of them today on the call already. And treasury is the key element that provides financial backing and means of solving these challenges. And we're doing it together. And as you see, there's soon going to be almost 1 billion ADA that will serve as a financial security for the protocol to function and evolve. And this is where Catalyst attempts to shed some light on how some of these funds can be used and distributed back into the ecosystem. And how we do that, that's on the right side of this slide. Each new fund, we start with the innovation phase, where we generate ideas and turn best of them into some actionable proposals to address a number of different challenges. And then we shift into the governance phase, where the key purpose is really to generate good decisions that are available from the quality proposals, and that is by informing how to manage the funds distribution, who is going to get those funds in order to execute. And then there is this execution phase, where projects are released into the world and they begin their journey of delivering of their proposals. And then when you add all of these three elements together, all of these three different parts, the collective is what yields the treasury ROI, or as we know it, the return on intention. And what is the intention of our ecosystem and where it comes from? Well, these intentions come to light in form of challenges. And those are set forth every funding round via a community vote. And we're going to talk quite a fair bit later today about all the different challenges which are slated for Fund 9. So if you're asking what those challenges are about, simply put, the most common, solving wicked problems together. And what is a wicked problem? Well, it's probably the one that hasn't been dealt with and we haven't found solutions for yet. And every fund, we start with setting those challenges, then we deploy solutions through proposals. And once funded, we measure ROI, and then we iterate and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And what do you know? We're doing it for the 9th time. It is Fund 9 already. So it's all interconnected. We're talking about challenges where we're trying to find the right problems. We talk about proposals where we talk about the right solutions. And then we have expert layer, that is, do we have the right decisions? And finally, now also we're working with acceleration and mentorship. Do we have the right execution post-funding? And the iteration is really the secret sauce of tracking, measuring, improving, and ending up hopefully in a better environment than we were before. So what makes our collective process special? Let's have a look at some of the key elements. So in a regular company, you can probably pivot just a couple times in a year, and that's assuming you likely work at a breakneck speed with zero downtime. And when you start looking at larger enterprises, that opportunity really shrinks down a lot more, perhaps once every few years. And with Catalyst, we're trying to make hundreds of experiments in a year and fund a lot of different ideas in many different directions. And that is really a huge opportunity. And, sometimes we could say it's $1 trillion problem where did you know that the actual research shows that about 3/4 of innovation initiatives around the world fail within their scope by crowds? What we're attempting here, we're trying to explore with very little constraints, and you can simply grab an idea, run with it, explore its potential. And that is thanks to the decentralized nature of how we're trying to arrange the Project Catalyst and the governance of Cardano, because you are really empowered at the end of the day to start, and you can start the change really every day as such. And why is that? It really comes down to decision-making. For any large organization, you really need to build a widespread consensus around an idea first, which can be really time-consuming, and you can miss the boat if it really takes too long, or you're unable to secure the right talent and find the resources to match that. So in Catalyst, we have really a flat structure where lesser need for consensus at first, because we let the results speak for themselves. And you can simply look around in many traditional ventures around the world, for example, of different corporations, large companies. When you have departments and you try to collaborate, it gets really, really complicated real fast, because those connections often don't last and they tend to break down. And why? Well, because of the misalignment of incentives. Everyone's role is to please their own boss. And what if you have multiple bosses in different departments? How do you make people work together when they're being accountable to different people? What are your incentives to actually work together? And those are really, really difficult questions. And there isn't much, honestly, and hence why these companies very often have problems to innovate, losing a lot of money as a consequence. And by contrast, all of us here are really bonded by ADA and are very well aligned in terms of what we're trying to achieve collectively in the collaborative process as such. So traditional slide for anyone who's dialing in for the first time. we all know the likes of Bitcoin, Linux, Wikipedia, GoFundMe, Kickstarter. They all started with a small group of what I like to call committed citizens. And when you look at all of these projects, they really started as crazy, a little bit maybe too far-fetched ideas at first, such as Linux having an ecosystem of developers competing with the likes of Microsoft, or Bitcoin, where, paving the way for an alternative world of financial systems. And can you imagine convincing someone about those projects in their infancy? I think you will probably assume that they're nuts. And now, same for many others. And idea of actually what we're doing, a fund collectively, a fund governed by tens of thousands, eventually of hundreds of thousands of people working collaboratively together, is also something somewhat ridiculous at first sight, but with the right set of tools, especially also what we talked today earlier on the call, and people, we have a really, really good shot at joining these visionary folks collectively. So it is really worth noting that we are collaborating in that non-rivalrous process. We're not here necessarily to compete and take each other down. We're here to find ways to support and collaborate as a crowd. Because if you apply for grants, schools, government subsidies, or similar ventures, everyone tends to be focused on competing. Everyone is hiding, protecting from one another, expecting to be attacked from any angle at any given point. And decisions are also very often made in the dark. But our goal is to flip the narrative upside down, go in the opposite direction, where openness, transparency, and collaboration together feed the shared understanding in our ecosystem. And this really helps us bring down silos and barriers and able to explore what the future could look like, and allows us to unlock the means that we have, the Cardano treasury, to pursue it as such. Speaking of goals, we just touched upon, let's thread the needle a little bit forward and start peeling off what Fund 9 is going to be about. I would like to invite Harris, which is our head of governance product at IO, to help us lay some light on upcoming fund goals and a little context for them. Harris, welcome, and floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Danny. And welcome to Fund 9, everyone. We're here. You guys have arrived. We've had a long road, a year and a half plus together, learning along the way, learning from each other, experimenting, making the system better and better. Thrilled to have you here. Welcome for everyone that's been here for the first time. Thank you so much for all the veterans that have been part of this process really from the beginning. We're just delighted that you're here in sharing in this experiment, in planning the pathway forward for us to sort of build governance together through Catalyst, through this amazing technology, and really trying to make a difference in the world, in your communities. We really want to make that clear. We want to build everywhere in the world. We've reached 91 plus countries. We think we can do more. We can really make a difference where you are in your communities. And that's really what Catalyst is all about. So we wanted to share some of the goals that we actually have created. In the past, some of these had come from Charles, and we want to make this different. We wanted to reach out to the community, and we actually put out a wiki survey to the community to sort of help define what those goals should be. And we've got some really good feedback, and we blended a couple of these together, but we've got 4 main goals that we're going to go after for Fund 9. And we really want to have your support in sort of making this happen for the community, for each of your communities. So we want to prepare people that are willing and able to contribute to the ecosystem. And that means everyone. That means each of us with our own talents, with our own gifts, can come to this forum and contribute in some way. Now, great if you're a developer, outstanding if you're managing a small team and you want to contribute to the ecosystem. But if you just want to add your ideas, if you want to review proposals, Catalyst is here for you, right? There's very limited barrier to entry to come in and contribute here. So we love the fact that you're here. We want to help prepare folks, and we'll learn together along the way on making this system better. So this is one of our goals. We want to prepare folks to contribute to the ecosystem in whichever way that you can. And this is a learning process. This is really a growing, evolving system. And so we're really glad you're here. Next slide. So another goal that we have is we really want to bring together open source into the equation. This has been a goal for some time, but we really want to attract more developers. And this came from the community. bring the developers to the table, keep it open source, really make sure that we're transparent and that folks can contribute openly. And so this is a big goal. Charles talked a lot about it. There's definitely some great things around the corner. We'd love to have those conversations with you at Consensus. I'll be there. Chris will be there. We'd love to see you. If you're in the area, please come. But we want to attract more developers. And the next goal, we want to build real world solutions. And this came from the community as well. That's based on Cardano. We want to keep people, engaged in how great this technology is, using real world solutions. And definitely with the upcoming hard fork and additional changes that are being made and all the tools and all the great pieces, it's going to become easier and easier to develop on Cardano. And so we welcome you to come in here, help us build real world solutions, put those proposals in to help solve real problems that are in your communities. And the next goal. And we want to improve tooling to support all of these great processes that we've built up here within Catalyst. Let's make it easier. Let's make it better. And with your help, we can do that in supporting these goals. We'll have areas within the ecosystem to actually make these tools better. We'll have open APIs that we'll be coming out with very soon that we'll have available for folks to contribute to make those tools better, to make the process easier, to support all of you beautiful people that are here to really make governance come alive, to really help pave that road into the future of one of the hardest problems to tackle globally, which is governance. So we're glad you're here helping us tackle these wicked problems. And the next slide, please. So why participate? There's so much you can do here. Well, first, you can interact with amazing people in the community. That's certainly where I started. I started actually working with the community members directly. So it definitely was important to me to show up to these meetings, understand what was going on, how could I help and participate. As we evolve together, you can learn and grow. You can build your reputation as somebody within the industry, and we can make history together. So I invite you to participate in the process. There's lots of areas where you can actually come in and help. We're gonna outline some of those areas now, but there's lots of reasons to be here within Catalyst. There's lots of reasons to take your time and be here. And we've seen the success of a number of folks. I think about 4% or so folks have actually gone from being here as lurkers to actually doing full-time Cardano. And that's a success story for us. And we'd love to see more of you jump in, help participate in the ways that you can as you're available, and let's make change happen together. And next slide, Danny. So how can you contribute? So you can be a proposer. If you have an idea, you want to be able to add value. There's others that can come in and actually help you to refine that proposal. It doesn't have to be a perfect VC pitch. You can come in with your concept that can be evolved and developed. If you are technical and you want to get your hands in there, you can be an implementer. You can take those funded proposals and turn them into real life projects. So these are a few of the ways that you can jump in. Next slide, Danny. You can be an assessor, right? If you're a proposal assessor, you can come in and help with reviewing those proposals. You could refer folks to come to Catalyst. Charles suggested that, hey, if you know a company that would benefit from the value, bring them into Catalyst and you actually can get paid. We have 160,000 ADA that's going to be available for just referrers alone. So spread the word, get the word out there. We're certainly going to be making a splash at Consensus to try to bring more folks into the ecosystem. So we're excited for that. You also can vote. You can use the power that you have in your ADA to actually contribute to voting, and there's rewards that are associated with that. So we incentivize you to come in, assess these proposals, make your judgment, and it takes this wisdom of all of you beautiful people that are here to really make decisions on what is important for the community, by the people, for the people. Next slide, please. There's veteran proposal assessors, right? Which really can help in terms of tuning and adjusting all of the great assessments that were made. And something that's relatively new is our challenge teams, which are really in charge of aligning and focusing groups of people to have these conversations on how do we solve these difficult and challenging problems? How do we adjust these proposals so that we're aligning with each other to solve and tackle these really challenging issues that are out there? So there's a bunch of ADA that's available for each of these specific sections. And if you can go to the next slide, Danny. So we've made a shift to 16 million ADA. So we've made a shift to that as our total budget. So 12.8 million in ADA is going to be made available for proposals itself. We also will have future challenges for Fund 10. So if you have ideas or areas for your specific community that you think is a problem, you can put those into Fund 10, ideally aligned around what the community is asking for, which is our goals. So there's a lot of incentives. There's sort of a breakdown of each of the amounts that are associated with this. And this is actually, these are represented in part of our challenge, our Catalyst parameters that are available. And so all of these numbers are broken down there. And in the future, the control of how we make the decisions of this percentage will be in the hands of the community. And that's something we'll be working towards as we proceed. But this is sort of an outline of what's available in Fund 9. So there's a lot of budget that's available. Please present your proposals. Please present your challenges for the future. And we're super excited for all of your amazing and beautiful ideas that will impact your own communities. And with that, I will go ahead and change gears into our upcoming challenges. And we've got some challenge presenters that will be here. Danny, you want to take it away?
Yes, let me just reshare because we will be sharing a couple of videos, which is critical, and they have the sound. So when I shared it originally, I didn't click the box. So let me try that again and share the sound. There we have it. Good.
So while we're doing that, I'm just keen to know, can we get a little thumbs up from everybody that's on the Zoom that this is their first town hall or catalyst that they're participating in? Interested to see.
I think you muted yourself, Chris.
just welcoming everybody, all of our newcomers. We've got a lively community. Get involved in discussion and debate, and I'm sure you'll find kindred spirits.
Absolutely. And that, the intention that we just talked about, that Harris mentioned about the challenge setting and everything, it really brings us back to setting challenges to address those wicked problems we mentioned earlier. So let's dive right into what those problems were chosen by the community to address in this Fund 9 round. And so let's begin. And the first one, I believe, will be kicking us off Marek Mahut from Blockfrost to help us kick off. Marek, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Marek, and I work at 5binaries, and I'm part of the challenge team for building on Blockfrost. Next slide, please. So for those of you who don't know, Blockfrost.io is the most used API in the Cardano ecosystem right now. It's been built by us at 5binaries, but we are making efforts for it to become a community-driven project. So the challenge question for the Fund 9 is how we can expand the Blockfrost ecosystem to drive the developer adoption of Cardano. This is the smallest challenge from Fund 9, so we really hope to grow it over time in the next funds, maybe, if there is a positive feedback from the community. Next slide, please. So please go ahead and read the full challenge description, idea scale. Feel free to reach us via email or directly on IOG's technical community Discord server. We have a channel there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marek. And we're going to move right to the next one, a challenge and scout it for students. And I think we should have a video, so I'm going to try to play. In case the sound is off, just holler at me, but I'm hoping it will be okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Issei Chikawa. I'm a student at Waseda University and the leader of this challenge team. The challenge I propose, challenge and scout it for student, is in belief, an ideathon for student. The reason for making this category is and most students have little resource to start a business and have little experience working in the Cardano community, making it difficult to raise money with Catalyst. But they can come up with a lot of interesting business idea. Therefore, we provide a place where they can present their idea. In this category, any idea that utilize blockchain or Web3 will do. And feasibility is not important. Instead, the budget will be capped at $5,000. Our goal is to give students a successful experience of compact funding, collaborate with other proposals, and get to propose bigger idea in different categories. To participate in this category, a proposal must include the name of the university and the email address that includes the domain of the university. Of course, even graduate students and vocational school students can join. That's all. If you know a student, please invite them to this category. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think Isa is actually here with us on a call as well. I think it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for being here and being able to present us the video. But let's proceed to the next one. So those were the slides and cross-chain collaboration. Tommy, I think Q is yours.
Hello. All right, next. So everyone knows who's been around blockchain communities for a while that there is this unhealthy competition between chains, and there's a bit of mentality like my chain is bigger than yours. But we don't have that, right? So we want Catalyst to be a game changer, and we want to take this idea of bringing collaboration between chains, and we would like you to be integral in that development. So in the next 6 to 12 months, how might we create new connections between blockchain communities, and how do we enhance existing collaboration? So next one. Certain ideas how you could take this forward, like Charles said in the beginning, you can contact anyone out there and say that, hello, I'm from the biggest decentralized organization ever, and we are called Catalyst, and we would like to collaborate with you. So it can be technical implementations, or it can be non-technical community-led initiatives. Here are some ideas from governance to bridges to expansion of Cardano projects to other chains or vice versa, or it can be common research, education, outreach, innovation projects, whatnot. So next one. Here's some ideas who you can collaborate with. Don't be limited to these, just to pick your interest and push you to certain directions. Next. The shared dream is that we create an enriching, open, and safe environment where people from different communities can find common ground and share knowledge, resources, skills, ideas, and visions with one another. Thank you. We also have a Discord server, and we'll be pasting the link in the chat.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Tommy. And that brings us into the next one. DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, love Cardano.
I love DAOs. You love DAOs. But what have we done for DAOs lately? The DAOs Love Cardano Challenge returns in Fund 9, roaring back from its debut in Fund 7. Next slide, please. We will distribute $1 million. The objective are tools for creation and operation of DAOs. Do you have that? And what does that even look like? To find out, we want to catalyze Project Catalyst. The goal is to be known as the safe and stable place for establishing sustainable DAO organizations. The DAO structure is an emergent and robust way of coordinating human behavior. It needs support, tools, templates, education, outreach, documentation, stuff that we don't even know yet. So let's be creative and courageous. One issue is that most DAO infrastructure is built on Ethereum. So we're looking to the great migration from Ethereum challenge and Tommy's cross-chain collab challenges to work together. Next slide, please. There is so much experience and leadership in our team, our challenge team, and the whole community. I'm excited to see what we can do together. We are the people we have been waiting for. If you have been waiting to bust loose your idea, please be encouraged and grab the opportunity to engage with this process. So why not join us at the After Town Hall today or in the future? Drop by anytime on Telegram or email. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Moving on, dApps, products, and integrations. I think that might be Quasar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Quasar. I'm doing dApps, products, and integrations. And this is some innovative stuff coming at you right now. This is ideally talking about what Charles was speaking of at the beginning of the show. Innovation, changing things, collaborating, finding ways to work together. dApps, products, integrations. We're looking for real-world solutions that can be built on Cardano. So on the next slide, you're going to see some ideas, some categories, things that are going on. We've got physical products. So let's tokenize a physical product, a car, a house, wedding ring, whatever it may be. And if you're having trouble hearing me, transportation, logistics, artificial intelligence, wallets, everything. If you don't have an idea of what challenge to put it in, it'll probably go in this one. This is an aggregation kind of all of the other challenges in the past. So this is an experiment of looking at these funds in one category. And with that, you can connect with the challenge team on Telegram, also on Twitter with the Hardcore Cafe or me, and also Discord, Project Catalyst Discord. This is going to be an exciting one. This is really innovative and it's pushing the boundaries. So let's get creative. And like Charles said, show me what you got.
You bet. Show us what you got, Quasar. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And dev ecosystem right in the rears.
Hey guys, hi. I hope you can hear me all right. So the Developer Ecosystem Challenge is back again for Fund 9 and hopefully will stay around for future funds. This challenge setting asks proposals to provide solutions specifically for developers. In order to produce successful dApps for mass adoption and business use cases, tools are needed to boost developer productivity and creativity. So this fund, again, there are $1 million available for funding. Next slide, please. Next slide, please, Danny. So here are some of the guiding questions for this challenge. Why is this challenge important? We need to create a positive developer experience and incentives so developers can flock to Cardano. How do we attract developers from outside of our current community to participate in Catalyst? How do we make current Cardano developer jobs easier and more rewarding? Potential directions of the challenge include IDEs, APIs, dashboards, and templates. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. If you haven't done so already, please join our Telegram group called Developer Ecosystem. The Telegram link is simply Developer Ecosystem. We also put the link in the chat. So this group is offering resources and discussions for proposals in the challenge, and also allows lurkers who have an interest in dev-related subjects to come to the group and chat. The challenge team is Julian Akram, myself, and Patrick Shannon, and we are happy to answer questions, direct message us, or just come to the Telegram group. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Amazing. So my connection's a little lagging, so it might be always with a little delay, but the next one up is a DRAP improvement and onboarding. And that's another one from our friends from Asia. And they're also here with us. I saw Yuta here. If he is still with us, give him a wave, and we're going to hear from him via video as well.
This is the rep improvement and onboarding team. How do you achieve 1. Diverse and many direct participation, 2. Easy and proper voter delegation. Why? Without 1, centralized. Without 2, dysfunctional. Thus, we must achieve 1 after 1 hour. 1. 200 plus direct from 100 plus countries have participated. 2. 50% plus of the voters are voting carefully. For further increase, join our Telegram chat. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Yuta. And let me cycle through the slides. Fun 10 challenge setting. This one's exciting as well. George, I think that's you.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, so
challenge setting here.
So Fun 10 challenge setting. What challenges should the community prioritize in Fun 10 that will help Cardano achieve its mission of improving the world for everyone and also support community goals as well? So next slide. So what is challenge setting? So challenge setting really decides what the community prioritizes and allocates funding towards in each and every funding round. What is included in challenge setting proposals? Well, what you're going to add is certain goals, objectives, or focus areas for the ecosystem. You're going to look at adding things like success metrics. So how can you actually achieve the intent of that challenge? You're going to look at categorization of the challenge. So what type of proposals make sense to be added into that challenge, if that makes sense? And then finally, you're going to apply a budget to the challenge, like how much is needed to reach and achieve that intent that's been set out. And why should you participate? Well, challenges determine which proposals can be actually submitted in the next funding round. So ultimately, challenges impact everyone in the community, and especially those who want to request funding from Catalyst. Next slide. There is a ton of things that you could do for challenges. So you've got things to do with products, integrations, community, outreach, you've got DAOs, identity, governance, scalability, development, infrastructure, education, interoperability. So many different things you can include here. And they're all massively important for us to consider when we're doing challenges and how we categorize things. Next slide. To contact, the first thing you want to do is you can set challenges in next week from the 9th of June to start kind of playing around and making those categorizations. You can reach out to us. There's a challenge team dedicated to helping with this process with a Telegram link there. There's a community Discord that's been running for quite a while where you can ask questions in there as well. And also after this town hall, there's going to be an after town hall for conversations about challenges and funding categorization. And that's it. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, George. Awesome. Next one up, Grow Africa, Grow Cardano. Floor is yours.
Right, so good evening from Ghana, everyone. My name is Mr. Yaku, and I'm representing the challenge team for Grow Africa, Grow Cardano. And so, next slide. So despite the great growth of cryptocurrency in Cardano in Africa, Africa remains a great potential for Cardano community in Africa. So we're trying to address challenges such as digital infrastructure, lack of local access to Cardano liquidity, and low use cases in Africa. So the impact is to see an increased Cardano adoption and more use cases in Africa, and of course to have the Cardano project Catalyst become more attractive to Africans as large. Next slide. Next slide. That'll be our last. Yes, so you can join us on our Telegram channel, which is Grow Africa. Grow_Africa. Join us and learn more about the challenge team. We'll be glad to welcome your ideas and work with you to execute your plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mustafa. Great job. Moving forward, Grow East Asia, Grow Cardano.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
Hello,
It's yours.
Hello, welcome. Welcome. Grow East Asia, Grow Cardano. Next, please. All right, the purpose of the challenge is to support the region with the various language community and support one of the last IDA holder of the Cardano ecosystem. And also we are as one of the hotspots of crypto investor. So next, please. So the challenge is to drive a very young coder generation into Cardano blockchain and ecosystem. Thank you. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. So with Fund 8, we have 12 funded challenge in the pool of 150,000, and this fund we have 250, and we hope that will be cater and attract more proposal to submit for the challenge and support the East Asia community to grow together with the rest of the Cardano ecosystem. Next, please. And finally is the huge thanks to the community from our very dynamic team and from Eastern Hemisphere Town Hall, and continue to support and voting for the challenge. And I hope that the successful for the challenge will be bring the ecosystem into the East Asia grow further. And that is very much thanks from all of us. And this is very early in the morning for us. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate staying up so late. I know it takes a tremendous amount of effort, so I appreciate everybody else from your team as well. I think you guys are here on the last slide as well. So again, big kudos for you being here with us. Thank you very much, Lynn. Awesome. Legal and financial implementations, another hot topic. And we're going to once again play a video if it works.
Hello everyone! This is a quick introduction to Legal and Financial Implementations Challenge. How can we build effective solutions to explore and provide legal and financial services and support to funded proposals? This is important to address because when receiving funds, many emerging projects in Catalyst faced legal and financial issues which block them from moving forward. Yes, yes, yes! More information about legal and financial implementation proposal you can find on this link, and you can contact us in our Telegram group for more information. Thank you for your time and have a great Fund 9.
Yes! Loving it. Great energy. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was really uplifting. So let's hop over to the great migration from Ethereum. Emmanuel, I think that might be you.
Hi, everyone. Emmanuel here, community evangelist for DC Spark and challenge team lead for the Great Migration challenge Saturn from Ethereum. So as we all know, Cardano is growing into this wonderful, vibrant ecosystem that we know and love. Yet, outside our, fantastic island is the world of Ethereum, the pond as, Charles would call it. And, many, months, maybe years ago, he made the concept of the island, the ocean, the pond, and how the goal eventually would be to bring everyone over into Cardano. And that's exactly what this challenge Saturn is all about. This challenge Saturn, next slide, sorry. This challenge Saturn is all about, figuring out how best we can expand and, offer opportunities for people outside of Cardano and specifically in Ethereum to build, in the Cardano ecosystem. Thankfully, we have amazing platforms such as Milkamida that offers EVM support to, non-EVM blockchains like Cardano. So that serves as the perfect testing bed and, building platform to establish common, products such as OpenSea, Rarible, Uniswap. Think of all the great stuff on Ethereum. This challenge Saturn is focused on how best people can, migrate the platforms and, communities over to Cardano from Ethereum. And it's very important because, Cardano needs to grow. And, as a solid, stack as Cardano is, it definitely offers a lot of great upsides for a lot of people in Ethereum. Next slide, please. Yeah, so there's $500,000 available in funding for all the brilliant minds out there looking to offer solutions into, migrating a lot of people and platforms from Ethereum to Cardano. If you have any questions, you can jump into community Discord. That's discord.gg/projectmonarch. We have some QR codes you can scan. Our email information, that's my email information, and the team's email information is available. So feel free to reach out. and let's go build some cool bridges.
You bet. Let's go building bridges. That's what I'm all about as well. Absolutely. So now, last but not the least, Catalyst natives are back, and I would like to invite Chris to introduce guests, and let's see their presentations right after. So, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. And first of all, let me congratulate all of the speakers just now. That is good time. That's good timing. I think we're doing really well. So, Catalyst natives, this is the next iteration. For those of you that may remember, in Fund 7, we had our first experiment with Catalyst natives, which, as you heard Charles explaining earlier on, Catalyst is intending on being a government for all, or ideas to that effect. And so, we've been operating Catalyst much within our community and within the confines of those that are happening upon Catalyst. But why should we limit it there? Well, I think there's a good opportunity to be able to now broaden this out and allow for the Catalyst community to really extend into helping to solve problems from other parts of the crypto space or blockchain or even beyond. So this is all about presenting new opportunities for innovation and incentives to the Catalyst community, and for anybody wanting to come and participate within our governance protocol for innovation. And this has been a real great opportunity to connect and collaborate with other organizations and entities that also share a similar vision of wanting to find these best of breed ideas and great innovation projects from communities such as our own. So in Fund 7, we worked with Coty, and this gave us a great platform. We funded a number of projects, some of which you might remember. We have just seen the demonstration of Ada Pay integrations for e-commerce platforms from our Fund 7 Catalyst Natives cohort. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Yanis from Cardashift to come and talk a little bit about the Cardashift and Catalyst Natives Challenge.
Hello, thanks a lot, Chris, for the introduction. Completely aligned with this vision of making great ideas possible thanks to the community. So let me shortly introduce our funds, our Fund 9, demonstrating and monetizing impact, and let me introduce it with an example. Imagine you're in Uganda and you've developed a solution to make water safe to drink. So with your solution, you're creating a huge value for community. You're creating a huge value for society. But today, you're not rewarded for this value that you are creating. And I think that's a huge topic, and a huge topic to tackle into the impact world. And this project is real. I've seen it with my own eyes a few weeks ago. And I think what we want to tackle today is really to make it possible for this project to be rewarded for the value they create for society and to monetize the impact they are creating. So that's why we want to leverage Cardano technology to make this new solution scale and emerge. And we propose a reward of $200K in dollars, and we'll reward it in CLAP tokens, our utility token. Next slide, please. So just let me introduce to you quickly what is Cardashift, what is our value proposition. So basically, Cardashift has the ambition to be a gateway for a project with real-world impact to an open ecosystem powered by the Cardano protocol. So we want them to have access to three big things. First of all, and you know it well with Catalyst, citizen investors. So for us, it's key, and it's something that is really powerful into crypto community. This idea that when you need to raise money, you can get funded by citizens themselves. So it means that you have a citizen support, and you also get rewarded without the need to go to funds or VC funds. You have also the possibility to have acceleration capacities with Cardashift. So we have experts in innovation, we have experts in product management, and the idea is really to give you the best-in-class program to make your idea scales. And last but not least, I think the main interest for us is really to develop blockchain use cases for projects with real-world impact. And I've met a lot of them, and they need it on traceability, on tokenization, and of course, on impact monetization. And next slide, please. So the first hypothesis we wanted to validate was with Cardashift was to see if there was an interest from, on one part, this real world project, and then the second part from crypto communities. And the answer on both sides is yes. For example, we've already have a batch genesis of 10 projects with real world impact, and they are currently into the voting phase. So people from our ecosystem, so it's around 10K citizen investor for the moment, mostly crypto guys, but who knows how much we can be tomorrow, with the power to choose and invest in this project. And most of them are investors in our own public sale of $10 million. That was done in late January. And also we want to provide this project with an acceleration program powered by 3 best-in-class companies in this project. So that's the first product we want to build for early stage impact ventures. And our purpose is also to make this possible for all kinds of projects in the real world to get this gateway to blockchain ecosystem. Next slide, please. And yeah, for us, so as you can see, the main topic is really about how we can monetize impact, because we are today facing one of, I think, of humanity's biggest challenges, either at an environmental or social level. And we have solutions. Solutions do exist, like this project in Uganda, but they lack funded and they lack recognized value. So it's really important that the impact can be monetized so they can get this funding and they can get this support. And for us, monetization of impact and demonstration of impact are key to solve this global challenge. Next slide, please. And just to finish here, I think that's the challenge we want to propose to you today is really to make a full ecosystem dedicated to impact emerge. We need to have this full ecosystem and this full value chain with both blockchain and non-blockchain approaches to make, first of all, the possibility to create the proof of impact with new certification process in a more decentralized way, make this proof of impact transparent and traceable, and then value and monetize this proof with new token models and with also marketplaces to connect the impact-oriented projects with potential buyers. So that's really a challenge where you can be completely innovative, completely creative. And of course, with Cardashift, it's a huge topic for us. So for the elected project, we'll be really keen to work with you on making real world impact a smart investment. Thanks a lot.
Yannis, that was a fantastic introduction to the challenge. I'm going to take it down a gear now. We've pretty much run through all of the challenge presentations. And so now you and I are going to have a chance to have a quick chat about this collaboration and talk a little bit more about the challenge. So when we think about impact and the context within blockchain technologies, I'm sort of led to thinking about how we make data more transparent, how we maybe make use of data sources and, maybe help to bring around new value that wasn't necessarily available in a transparent and auditable way. But I wonder whether you could give a bit of an idea and maybe some sort of potential directions as to how you could see some of the sorts of solutions that maybe in 6 months or 12 months or in years to come will be as guiding lights for people that are interested in potentially applying.
Yeah, of course. I think the kind of solution we can have, it depends really where you want to be positioned on the value chain. So first of all, the way we certify impact today is kind of old in a way. And I think this decentralized philosophy we have in Catalyst and we have more broadly in the blockchain ecosystem is something really interesting to make sure that when we say what is an impact, it can be adapted to the geographical area and to the context. So like, for example, having an impact in education in Rwanda is not the same as having an impact on carbon offsetting in UK, for example. And I think the decentralized process and the peer-to-peer review we have in the blockchain ecosystem can be a huge enabler to develop new solutions. Then there will be, of course, oracles. We'll need to do that, how we can translate this information from the real world to the blockchain, and then how to make sure that the protocol make this proof of impact transparent and traceable. And last but not least, I think we'll need to connect people, because for many of these projects, notably social businesses, it's really difficult to be connected with potential buyers. And there will be potential buyers, big companies, states that benefit from the value created for society. And I think we need to develop also this marketplace to make sure that people are connecting and that impact project can get funded.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area. So I think you can all agree there's such a wide range in this scope for this challenge. It's everything from thinking about marketplaces in a different context through to oracles and the implementations of oracles, not just for validating financial transactions or financial prices, should I say. It's more about, you know, what the lessons that we can take from these sorts of emerging applications of blockchain technology and apply them for cases that maybe it just hasn't really been considered so widely yet. I'm also really keen to understand a little bit more about, you know, the philosophy at Cardashift and the culture of what it's like working there. Tell us a bit about your story, and also I'd really like you to give some context as to what else does it mean when they're going to collaborate with you once we've got funded projects. How are they going to connect? What's going to be like their experience?
Yeah, I should have started by presenting myself, of course. So my name is Yanis, and I'm project sourcing lead at Cardashift. So basically at Cardashift, we are already an ecosystem in a way, because Cardashift was born from three different companies, one from the blockchain ecosystem, one from the startup studio ecosystem, and one from radical innovation ecosystem. And the three companies had the same goal about how we can make our company for the common good. And so they say, okay, there is a huge opportunity on chain. There is like huge communities wanting to do something, huge potential on of the technology. And they decided to create Cardashift. And so in Cardashift, the way we work is that we have people from really different backgrounds. And if you work with us, you will be in connection with our impact team. So impact teams, these people are not really blockchain at the beginning, but they get to the blockchain, and the main interest in blockchain is how blockchain can be leveraged to make like impact monetization or impact project go further. And then you have also the possibility to be connected with our developers, with our product team. So there is many competencies, and it works like an ecosystem where everyone brings his potential to the table. And you are more than welcome to join this ecosystem. It's completely open.
Fantastic. And so on the point of connecting, this is obviously the first day of the innovation campaign, and then we move into governance or evaluation and governance. And so at any point over the next, say, nearly 2 months, if any prospective parties or individuals or organizations want to get in touch with you, what's going to be the best ways to do that?
So you have two possibilities. We've just set up a Telegram channel dedicated to the fund. So we'll post some news, and the idea is really for people to connect during on this Telegram channel, to exchange, to be creative on this channel. And then we'll also have, you can also join our Discord channel. So our Discord channel is more for Cardashift and how it works with the Launchpad, how it works with our different projects. And so if you want to know more about it and discuss with our community and also our projects, because we have 10 projects for the moment, you can also come to the Discord channel. I will put it in the chat.
Fantastic. Well, Yanis, it's a pleasure to be working with you. We're looking forward to seeing what comes out of these exciting next steps. And a quick shout out to Anna as well. Hi there.
Yeah, Anais is also working with us. Just saying hi. Thanks a lot, Chris, for the invitation, and thanks a lot for hosting us for this Catalyst Challenge.
You're welcome. Well done. Danny, back to you.
Thank you. Let me pull up the slides right back up where we left off. And what does this everything now mean? So starting tomorrow, UTC afternoon, we're going to launch Insight Sharing on IdeaScale. And we are going to engage together, about how we understand these challenges, what valuable insights we can share to help each other to increase the shared understanding by identifying what is it that we're still missing, what is the key information that will bring clarity to all the proposals as they are navigating these amazing challenges in this fund. So what kind of unique knowledge of information you have to share to inform all proposers that are going to propose solutions. So I invite you to really share. And this is very important because we want to understand problems from multiple perspectives before proposing solutions, as this is supported by research as well. So let's look around in each challenge, orientate ourselves, and only then next week we begin the process of submitting the proposals. So how does it work? You register or log back into the idea scale. If you haven't before, you just create an account. It's very simple. And then starting tomorrow, all of these new challenges just presented today will appear on the main page of idea scale. You pick a challenge where you have something to say or more, share even your insights, have a short post, share your thoughts, interesting sources to share with everyone else. You have that knowledge, and let's have a look at all of these problems from all these different perspectives. Do keep in mind, and we ask everyone, this is not the time to submit actual proposals or solutions, but only your perspectives on how to approach these challenges. So thank you for being considerate of it. And because the proposal submission will begin only the week following. And what the timeline looks like, I think we've seen it before, but it's always good to have a recap. This week, we begin with the insight sharing, and the proposal submission will only open next week on Thursday, and that will be open all the way up to the June 30th. And that's the most important element for all the aspiring proposers, this fund. So you can most certainly dive even deeper on this slide. But now let's again shift a little bit of the gears and hear from some of the community-led updates, and to start with none other than the Catalyst Circle. So Nori, take it away.
All right, welcome to the Catalyst Circle section. For those that are new here, Catalyst Circle is a human sensor array that consists of functional group representatives from 7 different groups. It's an iterative mechanism to problem sense and prioritize community effort and attention. If you want to find out more, there's an article here by Chris Baird and a QR code that will link you to it. Next slide. The circle exists to fulfill 4 key goals: to facilitate communication between the different functional groups, to provide a heads up when red lines are crossed within a certain group, to suggest improvements on plans and processes that shape Project Catalyst, and to define the election process for Circle V4. Next slide. So our current circle is consisting of 7 individuals: Bullish Dumpling from the Cardano Foundation, Dimitri Fernando representing the general ADA holders, Harris Warren for IOG, Joey Cheshire for tool makers and maintainers, Mercy A for funded proposers, Reese Morgan for stake pool operators, and Nadia Hopkins for CAs and VCAs. And I think today we have some presentation slides from 2 of the circle members. So we'll be hearing from Nadia first, and then Reese for a little bit of an update. So over to you, Nadia.
All right, thanks everyone. I know we're in a marathon here together, so I'll try to be brief, but also comprehensive. Just wanted to give an update on the VCA resolution process outcomes. Just for updating and transparency to the community, there's a linked document here that records the petitions raised, the related recordings of those sessions, and the documentation and community recommendations. Without getting too much into it, we held this resolution process as an option for participants, VCA participants in the QA process to be able to raise issues with the process itself and also contest any outcomes that needed a little bit more insight. So there's a summary here for it. We actually heard 6 of them, and you'll see the full details in that linked document. And we certainly welcome and encourage involvement in the evaluation and changes to this process for Fund 9. We have some good space here between now and the VCA part of the whole process between now and then. So we ask you to please join the conversation in Discord. And once you get to the Discord link there, if you haven't joined the server yet, do that. And then you'll look for the VCA discussions channel, and that's where you can find those who are really working on this process. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, really good news. The VCA Rapid Funding Treasury is funded. I guess it's the BPA Rapid Funding Treasury is now funded. And this was a proposal in Fund 8. and you are invited to be a part of this self-governance journey. We're going to learn together about the goals and purpose of this treasury. That is a funded treasury that exists to be able to provide rapid funding for improvements to this part of the process and to individuals who are supporting it. So it will be about also considering the roles and activities that are inspired and the different tools that will operate the treasury. So really excellent exploration into governance and the creation of governance framework. So we have some key links here, and I would like to just give a big thank you to Jeremy, who is the architect and drafter of many of these documents. He's going to present this slide, but he's unfortunately in a spot with not a great connection, so I'll do it on his behalf, but he will be a very major actor in moving this forward. So the first is the link to the Treasury proposal, so you can familiarize yourself with it. There's a companion guide here that gives the framework and what's in development, and then a document that gives the principles for the Treasury. This week, we're going to start to form an engaged admin governance team for the Treasury called a Treasury Advisory Group. And this group will be key in helping to maintain and implement the framework of the Treasury. So we ask you in that case to please learn more. This is a specific community advisor Discord thread that you can join, and it will be about the Treasury, and you'll be able to learn more about how that will be implemented. Even if you're not within or in a role within this community, if you're thinking of developing a Treasury, or if you have one, you'd like to collaborate with others building one, really nice opportunity to do that. Okay, and next slide. So as you heard in Harris's presentation, the role name change for the assessing role to proposal assessors is here for Fund 9. This is going to hopefully increase role clarity and also help us to evolve the advisor roles in Catalyst. With any change, we always have the opportunity to consider the related opportunities it creates within Catalyst. And so I'm going to hand it over to Zoe to invite you to be a part of this exploration of the Catalyst roles and processes. Go ahead, Zoe. I think you need to. There you go. Great.
Yeah, does it work now? Awesome. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nadia, for the introduction. I'm Zoe. I'm one of many of us who address the confusion of how roles in Catalyst are named every now and then. And today, I happily invite you to the renaming initiative. Try to facilitate this big discussion that has been going around for decades. Before, you heard the announcement of CA change to PA from Harris. Finally, a good first step towards clarity of names. The CA confusion is out of the way, and we can use the term for people who do actual community advising. And we don't scare newbies anymore, or at least not like this. Now, the renaming initiative you are invited to is organized in 2 events. On the first event, you get introduced to the idea of stages in a process instead of roles, and then we collectively brainstorm our ideas on how we could name or rename the stages. This first introductory and brainstorming event has 2 meeting slots planned already, and you can attend the one that fits your plan the best. The dates are given on the slide. On the second event, we will bring all the ideas together, furtherly discuss the names we came up with, and hopefully collectively decide on them. How and when we proceed is to be announced, because we want to stay flexible and see what fits the group's needs best. Also, if we cannot make it in 2 events, we can arrange a 3rd one. No pressure. The meetings will happen on Zoom, and you will get all the announcement and important information in the Telegram announcement channel. The first link on the slide is your invitation to it. We also have a discussion group for you to ask questions and to share and discuss ideas in between the meetings, which you can join via the second link. If you also think that veteran proposal assessor or VPA kind of doesn't make sense or sounds a little odd, you are the perfect match to join this initiative and bring your perspective and insights in. I'm very looking forward to see you on one of the first meetings and to discuss your first questions and ideas in the discussion group. And I'm very excited to collectively re-envision and rename the Catalyst process with you all and make sense of the names together. See you there, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, that's it from us. Over to Reese. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Nadia. So a quick update for the circle. In the last fund, there was a lot of discussion about the purpose of the circle and whether it was an effective position within Catalyst. We've listened to a lot of community feedback, and we're in the process of figuring out a better system for problem sensing. We, as a circle, didn't get funded this round, but we were voted in for like a 6-month or a 2-fund term. So regardless of like a funding, we agreed to continue the work and begin putting better processes in place for future funds. We did get some rapid funding, organized, as Nadia mentioned, with VCAs. So we have some cash available to us, but it isn't for us. It's for providing funds to the community to help and build and support contributors. In the last fund, some of our circle reps used this funding, like Nadia was saying just a minute ago, to organize bounties and get the community to bring problems to the table so that community members can do the work and be rewarded for it. This system proved incredibly effective and has helped develop that community to work together to solve problems. So with that in mind, we've come up with the idea to build a more collaborative process for the circle, where any community member can submit problems and raise issues, and we can organize bounties for people to work towards those goals. We still have to iron out some of the details, but we'll bring regular updates to this process as we roll them out over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Reese. And for the current slide, you can see the link to the 6th issue of the Catalyst Circle meeting. Thanks always to QA-DAO for transcribing and taking notes on the meetings and providing them for the public. You can find all the links to all the Circle activities here, from the Circle V3 Oversight Git book to the prioritized problem board, and all the minutes from all the previous iterations of the Circle and the V3 election process. And I think that's it for the circle. So I'll hand it over to Allison.
Thanks, Nori. And as Nadia said, we are in a marathon here, and I don't want to be the person that pushes us past the 2-hour mark. So I will do this quickly. So I'm speaking for the community governance oversight group. Our history: after a presentation of the Catalyst parameters pilot in November, IOG and the then Circle, which was version 2, drafted a Fund 7 oversight proposal. It was successfully funded. We were very happy about that. And the continuation proposal in Fund 8 was also funded. So the team involved recommitted to the project. The intent of CGO, our mission, is to provide oversight of challenge setting, Catalyst Circle problem sensing, DREPs, and Catalyst parameter changes. So if you want to engage with governance oversight, please join our Discord server and the link on that slide. And could we go to the next slide? So I or somebody from CGO will be presenting every other week, and we're going to try to do at least 2 things: talk about what's new in governance, first of all. So our next CGO meeting will be held on Thursday, 2 June, and the first DREPs workshop. So obviously DREPs are an important part of the governance experiment. The first DREPs workshop will be held this week on Thursday, 2 June. And as you just heard from the challenge team, the DREP improvement and onboarding F9 challenge was successfully voted. As you just heard from Reese, the F8 proposal to compensate the Catalyst Circle reps and admin was not funded, and the Circle is discussing how to proceed into the next fund. And a separate F8 QA-DAO oversight of Catalyst Circle proposal was funded, and QA-DAO continues to do a phenomenal job documenting, transcribing, and overseeing a lot of the governance experiments. So could we go to the second to last slide? What's new with Catalyst parameters? So I mentioned that part of the mission of the CGO is to oversee parameters. We are still working through exactly what it means to oversee parameters, but what we're starting to do is to catalog and publicize parameters when they change. So the ones that we've managed to track so far, in Fund 8, there were new requirements for VCA eligibility, and there was a new process, which Nadia mentioned, to contest VCA reward distribution. The voter rewards doubled. People were talking about this in Telegram from F7 to F8, due both to the changing ADA price and also to the fact that from Fund 7 to Fund 8, the fund size in total had doubled. There was also a change, as we've all been talking about, in the way the Fund 9 budget is denominated. So the Fund 9 budget, total budget for the entire Fund 9 was set based on the lower of USD or ADA. Now for the rest of this point and the next point, there seems to be a lot of confusion around what exactly that means for the challenge setting budget and for the proposal budget. So I had put this bullet on here that the total budget for F9 was calculated to be $12,750,000. I came to that number from taking the official IOG list of all funded challenges, adding up the dollar amounts provided for each funded challenge and coming up with that number, but there seems to be some confusion. So there will be clarity coming from IOG as to exactly what this new budget amount means and how that's all going to work. And it's my commitment as part of CGO to hopefully have a clearer statement the next time CGO is up here talking about parameters. And the final parameter that we noted, the introduction, of course, of the much welcomed cool down period between funds. Those are the ones we observed. If you see more, if you think there are different parameters that we missed, please feel free to engage with us on the Discord server. This is a community-wide effort to track how our experiment is changing and growing and iterating. Final slide, please. Those are the links to the documentation and the meetings and the DWork board. CGO, along with all of the other governance experiments, seeks to do everything in a completely open and transparent manner. And that is it from CGO. So I think now we're shifting to Teo.
Hello, my name is Teo, and today I put the Catalyst School hat on. Previously, I heard that we jump into a new fund with a lot of new roles, and then we learned about challenges and top into governance. So if you have questions about it, then in Friday, 11 UTC, I will be holding an introduction to Catalyst School, and not school, but Project Catalyst, and we'll be having a discussion with you to introduce you to this system. Also, we'll putting some links on the chat, so see you there.
Awesome, thank you, Teo. Always as amazing updates. So what's next? Next town hall, obviously we'll be kicking off Fund 9. I have a typo here, but proposal submissions will begin on June 9th next week. And prior to that, on June 8th at 5 p.m. UTC, we'll be back again with, I promise, much shorter town hall than it is today. This is only for the beginning, and we're going to try to stay under the 60 minutes as we always have tried for the recent. But if you are here for the first time, please register with this link, and it will keep you registered from week to week, and you don't have to re-register again, and you'll be able to come back here. If you are here for the first time, there is plenty of resources available. Some of them are listed. This is not an exhaustive list, but if you want to start, get your feet wet, I do encourage you to subscribe to the announcements channel only. That gives you the most important updates and the key milestones, as well as subscribe to the mailing list, which will allow you to generally on Fridays receive a Catalyst Weekly, which is a weekly digest of all things governance and Catalyst in general. So having said that, I think we can hop over to the after town hall, and I'll invite Natalie. Floor is yours, so feel free to take over your slides and present what are we looking forward to today.
Okay, can everyone see the slides? Very good.
You're ready to go.
I know everyone's keen to jump into the breakout room, so I'll try to wrap this up quickly. As per usual, I'll be walking you through the events that are happening throughout the week, and the breakout room is happening shortly after we're done. Okay, so driven by the intention of local input for global outcomes, the Catalyst Town Halls operates in a global scale to build fully inclusive format. And as you can see on the slides, there are 4 different town halls. Each of them are adjusted to local languages, cultures, and perspectives. To start off, there's a Pacific Town Hall, which takes place each second Thursday at 1 a.m. UTC, and it takes place in English. Latin American Town Hall each Thursday at 2130 UTC, and the languages include English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Africa Town Hall each second Friday at 1800 UTC, and it's done in English, Arabic, Swahili, and French. Lastly, there's the Eastern Town Hall each second Saturday at 9 a.m. UTC, and it's done in English, Japanese, Indonesian, and Vietnamese. As for the weekly events, Gimbal Labs meet each Tuesday on Zoom at 1800 UTC. The weekly playground sessions is a place to meet awesome projects and people at the Gimbal Apps developer community. Cardano for Climate each Tuesday at 1500 UTC on Zoom as well. They're community-driven initiatives which aim to build solutions and relationships between climate friendships and blockchain technology. Swarm sessions, Zoom call each Saturday at 1700 UTC. Each Saturday, Swarm members in the community come together to write human code for blockchain ecosystems. And lastly, the Lido Nation Twitter Spaces each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 a.m. UTC. So Lido Nation helps and supports the community and newcomers to engage with the Cardano and Catalyst ecosystem. The Catalyst Sustainability Goal Conference on Chain Your Impact will take place this Thursday, June 2nd at 1900 UTC. So the Catalyst School and Cardano for Climate are organizing this event dedicated to impact companies, organizations, and people. So make sure to join and learn how impact projects can use blockchain technology and how they can get financed for their initiatives. Please share with your impact-driven network to onboard them onto the Catalyst into Cardano. Why do we all meet? On the basis of 3 pillars: to participate in meaningful conversations and collaborations, to connect with other community members, ideas, and projects, and to catalyze new ideas and improve processes together. If you want to host your own breakout room, you can simply do so by taking your slot. You could either scan the QR code on the slides or fill out the form as well. So on to the breakout rooms. Sala de Café by Latin American Community, RealFi Alliance led by Y Collective, Cardano Women led by Zuliana, and this week, Cardano Woman features a profile of Mercy that will highlight her life journey, her experience making meaningful contributions, and her impact across the Catalyst community and beyond. The interview will be led by Maria Carmel, Cardano entrepreneur, and I want to emphasize that this is not an all-exclusive to women group. It is inclusive to all genders and is meant to celebrate diversity through building relationships in Cardano. Forecasting Cardano native tokens led by Kenrick, monthly reporting SWAT Thorsten, SSI Atla Prism, Ruse Wallet, and Snaprillia demos led by Anushka Soma Patel, DAO's Love Cardano Challenge, Aaron, Sustainability on Cardano Blockchain, Seaman, Emergo Academy, Sebastian Pereira, Funding Categorization led by George, and lastly, DAO Incubator led by Logan Panshot. So just before we jump into the breakout rooms, I just want to remind the hosts to please record your sessions and send them to thecoursewarm@gmail.com. I'll add the email into the chat in a second. You all partake in very important conversations that might be useful to everyone, so we want to make them public and publish them onto the official Catalyst Swarm YouTube channel. And that is all for today. Back to you, Daniel, for the final words.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. It seems like another packed after town hall space, after another packed town hall. So with many opportunities to network and talk with one another. However, this also concludes the main town hall part. Again, if you are on YouTube watching this live, please don't be shy to come down in person for these Zoom out breakout sessions. And you can find the link then again in the YouTube video description just below this window. And you'll be with us in very few moments. And for everyone else who is out of time today and lasted up until now, once more, we really, really appreciate you spending time, especially if it was a very late, odd hour for you of the day. And I'm going to look forward to having you here with us at the same time next week on Wednesday, June 8th at 5 p.m. UTC here at Zoom or on IOG's YouTube. And I promise we generally try to keep it under an hour. Till then, have a great time. And I wish you a great start into the Fund 9. See you around.